I know what you're thinking, and I get it. It's kind of a misdirection. But now that you're here, these Japanese brands are some of the best at using that monochromatic range. Or in other words, a whole lot of black. And while not all these brands exclusively use black, when they do use the darkness, it makes up for some of the best offerings the country has to offer. I'm Reggie Casual. Let's take a look at a few of these black labels. Let's get it. They're from Japan though. Now let's get it. All right, so first up, we got an easy one. Ground Y is part of the pantheon of sub-labels that make up the Yohji Yamamoto brand. Positioned as sort of an entry level for the Yohji silhouette, don't let the entry level tag fool you. Ground Y is a legit made in Japan diffusion label that gets the job done if you want to try the classic Yohji silhouette without that price tag. While some pieces can still reach into the thousands, it's actually rare, and the added benefit is that even though it's Yohji silhouette, it's also kind of the Yohji street brand, if you get my meaning. Offering collabs with notable artists, brands, and other entertainment properties like One Piece, Evangelion, and the Marilyn Monroe estate. It's perfect as a transition and provides you with the Yohji basics that can easily be mixed with mainline offerings later on the line. So if you're looking to get into Yohji, but without that price tag, Ground Y is where it's at. Now, let's go for some lesser known labels. Lad Musician was established by Yuichi Kuroda in 1995, and as its name suggests, its basic concept is a fusion of music and clothing. But that doesn't necessarily give us an idea of what it looks like. Now, does it? While Lad Musician doesn't always exclusively use black, its connection to the shade is present throughout most collections. It's basically a label that would be best described as if Johnny Cash met traditional Japanese tailoring and silhouettes. It comes off incredibly sleek, but it isn't afraid to go incredibly casual and street adjacent. However, its best stuff is when it plays with monotone patterns, giving character to its more simple pieces. That said, most pieces aren't just simple. Certain adjustments to classic styles are instantly noticeable, and what's crazy about it is that it's quite consistent from style to style, meaning you could possibly only buy Lad Musician and still have multiple looks without it being too redundant. The make is great as well, and in most cases it won't cost you an arm and a leg. It's still expensive, mind you, but the secondhand market is super forgiving. Next up is Rip Van Winkle, established by Masao Ono in 1997. On its surface, Rip Van Winkle appears as a typical high-quality basics brand, but look closer and you begin to realize that Rip Van Winkle has, since 1997, been producing some of the best outdoor pieces and styles in the black shade in Japan than most labels in the general purview. The quality of the materials is unmatched, the silhouettes are sublime and adventurous without being too costumey, making it perfect for everyday wear. And that's pretty much the sell for RVW. Outside of it being a particular style, it feels amazing. The materials are expertly chosen, and that's by design. And even with that, it's not crazy expensive. It can get there, but it's not crazy expensive. Not any more than any other label in its category. So it offers a great opportunity for those who like the aesthetic to fill out their wardrobe with some high quality sets for a good price, especially on the secondary market. It does fit on the slim side though, and it does require your body be a particular type, but if you can find a piece that fits you, it can be an excellent part of your wardrobe. Our next up is John Lawrence Sullivan. JLW was established by Arashi Yanagawa, a former professional boxer, and the name is derived from America's first heavyweight champion, who Yanagawa admires. However, while the name is more American, the clothes are actually inspired by British tailoring, a skill Yanagawa picked up after retiring from boxing and residing in the UK for a bit. John Lawrence Sullivan takes those British tailoring nods and combines them with a classic punk appeal, resulting in a distinct look and some phenomenal styling. High quality knits, leathers, and denim make up not only men's styles, but also women's. And its meticulous use of those fabrics makes for one of the coolest brands coming from Japan. Period. Unlike most from the country, John Lawrence Sullivan is built more internationally, as its sizing is far more forgiving for a Western audience. It also is one of those brands that doesn't lean so heavily on combining Japanese traditional cuts all the time, but it circumvents that by applying Japanese styling and its clear connection to classic punk influences. The results marry the dedication to preserving subculture and technique in a way that's just imitable. But Fair warning, it is on the designer range as far as pricing is concerned. But to be quite honest, it is well worth it. There's major grails among its offerings, especially for the right person. All right, we got some more coming, but before that, a word from our sponsor, Squarespace. A big part of fashion is community, and building a fashion brand or any business requires a strong one. That's why using Squarespace for your new website might be the way to go. Besides being packed with great website templates, built-in SEO and analytics, Squarespace's new members areas make it easy to create, foster, and grow a community of true fans. Give back by giving members exclusive content, discounts, and much more, all while monetizing your business. So use our code squarespace.com/thecasual to save 10% off of your first website and let Squarespace help you build your brand, business, and community. Kohei Kawamori's KLASICA isn't necessarily a label that relies on monochromatic styles and pieces. It uses black, but what's more important is how it uses the fabric it chooses as a brand. It just so happens that many of the pieces are black, and that's fine per the rules of this list. KLASICA is all about texture and making clothes look and feel worn in. Pieces are intentionally wrinkled and softened, making for a very unique blend of classic style and ethnic influences. It's not for everyone because the stuff does look old even when it's new, but for the right person, this brand is straight golden. It doesn't follow any definitive trends and instead relies purely on its own techniques and position. And while most of the pieces seem simple, it's a label that can take your most basic pieces and add far more character, essentially turning basic into mindful. The silhouette airs on the wider side, but doesn't oversize to oblivion. It doesn't overdo it. Think of it as far more subdued than Yoji. And because it's a bit more neutral, it's a label that you can settle into after years of more bombastic outfits without compromising your personal aesthetic. It's a forever label, if there is such a thing. A classic's classic, and just unique enough to not be overlooked. But it does require a bit of maturity. It's far more texture-based and fashion-forward, which means it may not be suitable for those who like a more adventurous approach to styling. However, it's also not so expensive, so trying it, or at least using it as a way to get some cool textures and fabric pieces in your wardrobe is definitely an option. So this last one's gonna be a little bit hard because I have to say this in English, which is difficult. Takayanagi Masakatsu's Kiryu goes both ways, meaning the name is a palindrome, so don't let it fool you into saying something else. And it uses a bit of black, but again, is so married to it that it forgets to add a bit of flavor every now and then. A former pattern worker for Yohji Yamamoto Inc., you can instantly see Masakatsu's influence from his former job by its unapologetic use of layers and drape. But unlike Yohji, Kiryu as a brand keeps things tighter and less voluminous. Shoulders are sharp, pants are often skinny. In fact, the entire aesthetic merges goth, punk, classic Japanese layering, and alternative rock quite seamlessly, and it's actually pretty cool to look at. And while it does look pretty, there's no doubt about that, Kiryu runs into a bit of a problem. It's clearly for a very specific body type, but we can't simply ignore it because of its bigger body type deficiencies, because some pieces from the label are just too damn good to pass up. The brand's use of faux fur, leather, and wool is downright amazing, and its styling is just admirable to say the least. For those that choose the slimmer black silhouette, it's near the final form, and its expert merging of Japanese traditional cut is something that looks so far from costume that you'll instantly feel as if it's an effortless yet bold take. And when it gets into patterns, I mean, damn, it's good, like real good. But unfortunately, it's a bit closed off due to those aforementioned sizing issues. That said, if you are in that sizing range for this brand, it is golden and definitely worth looking at. It's one of my favorites, and that's why it's on this list. And that's it, that's all I got for you today. These black or brands that use black that are from Japan are amazing, but there are far more to explore, and we'll do that soon enough. However, let us know your favorites on this list, or even better, let us know what we may have missed. Is there another brand that uses a lot of black, has like blackness in it, that you thought should have been on this list? let it be known in the comments. Or you could suggest something else that we could talk about on the next list that we do. You could do that. At the very least, drop a like, sub, and turn on notifications if you found this content interesting or valuable to you. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info in international fashion, culture, and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And I will see you guys in a minute.